Hello, welcome to episode 27 of Life the Story About Itself. Today, I'm going to expand more on the journey from Spain to Morocco and talk a little bit about the philosophy and the mindset and the spiritual practices really that allows for this flow and these experiences to be had essentially. So at this time, this was around 2016, and I was just reflecting on how allowing in a lot of these experiences means allowing yourself to feel more. It's this vibrancy and this engagement with life that I've noticed sometimes people are numb to. Like they don't necessarily celebrate moments or they don't necessarily allow themselves to enjoy the moment or appreciate the moment for what it is. For whatever reason, they're in their heads or thinking a lot about different moments or just not fully present. And there's also another aspect of this that sometimes people are trying to control the experiences, where, have you ever heard people say, make judgments about things or they're thinking about things before they've even happened? If you've ever thought of a solo female traveler, what are some of the things that just pop up in your mind, or the fears or the doubts or the skepticism or the uncertainties or the even like stereotypes or cliches that might just by way of common thought would pop into your mind without even necessarily questioning or assessing, like, is this the truth, is this my own thought, is this my actual feeling? So I've noticed that actually a lot of times there are a lot of analytical like analytical but more so just thoughts that come up in the mind, and this relates back to, say, the Vipassana meditation that I talk about here and there, about how this really like quieted down my mind. It really caused my mind to really be so a lot more sharpened and like a lot more in the moment and filter out the voices and the ruminating thoughts that were not really my own in the first place. And that's how the meditation almost relates to the experience of life and allowing more in. Because to allow more in, it also means that you can't control the flow of a tap. So just say like the water flows through a tap, you can't really control the flow of it. Like if you try to control the flow of it, then it might not be as wide open. What I'm really trying to say is that you have to accept the good, the bad, and the ugly, all of it at once, right? So just because I have great travel experiences, it doesn't mean that I don't have, some experiences that, you know, you may be bored. You may be feeling like, geez, I want to just go home right now. Geez, this is not what I signed up for. I find as a solo female traveler, I tend to enjoy my own company, for by way that I'm a very optimistic person. Like I tend to have a very playful energy, very adventurous. I feel like I'm an alchemist and I transmute energies. I have a very unique spin of things, and also I tend to like unique aspects and adventures and things of that nature. So I'm not the type of person who's staying at a resort. I'm not the type of person who's in a vacation. I'm not the type of person who's having all of these rules or conditions about something. I'm very much, when I say surrender, flow, allow, these are truly this embodiment of letting the story by itself. And I think that's what allows me to be an adventurer and to be like a solo female traveler, a world traveler to various diverse countries and diverse experiences and like places that I think a lot of people necessarily say, even just like Morocco or wherever you think is like unsafe or not too foreign or something. I took the ferry from the south of Spain, Tarifa, to the north of Morocco. It was only like a 2-hour ferry ride. And obviously, it's like you're literally crossing not just countries, but continents within like a 2-hour ride from the south of Spain, Tarifa, to the north of Africa, Tangier. It's so funny because I always think like, okay, so that part is like it's like a very eclectic, right? Because there's so much like, Morocco is like has like some Spanish influences, but it's also like Middle Eastern. It's obviously part of the continent Africa. So it's like a hub of like, it's not just one thing, it's like eclectic, right? So there's that aspect of like a fusion of energy, and it's so exotic. It's like part of that was just that feel, that sensory experience. It's really like the supermarkets, the spices, the colors, the language, Arabic. As someone who, is Asian by heritage, but then obviously grew up in a Western country. And I have that duality, like Eastern and Western. The Middle East to me is just like totally exotic. And my name is actually rooted in Hebrew, which is kind of like the Middle Eastern, has like biblical roots and such. And it's the name that my mother picked for me. So it's like I've always felt like this universal aspect. It's like my name and my roots have some Hebrew and like that Middle Eastern flair. Meanwhile, I'm ethnically Asian and also then culturally brought up in like a more Caucasian atmosphere. So it's like I have this very international mix within me already. And it's so interesting because I also was immersed in French growing up. So that gives me a little bit of, that Latin roots essentially. So it's very, very like I have a very universal worldly like also growing in Canada, there's like it's very you meet people from all over the world, like even just like when you're in school. So I already have that general base and the fact that my parents themselves were world travelers. But as I go into from Spain and already this whole venture, I'm like going to all these places that are feeling even more exotic and foreign to me by the second. And when I took that ferry from Tarifa to Tangier, it was like I was like crossing worlds. To me, that's what it felt like. And especially I was going as a solo female. I loved especially that I wasn't flying. I was like embarking on this voyage, like this bon voyage. And it was just kind of like this truly felt like I was a world traveler in that sense, like a character in an Agatha Christie novel. A lot of her novels take place in exotic settings around the world. I've always loved that. And and I almost felt like I was a character in a storybook, especially being like a solo female. It just has this quality of adventure, of freedom, of exploration, of autonomy, of sovereignty. And these are the characteristics that I embodied. And the more that I am able to experience, like allow, like I experienced joy and like the peace and the ease and appreciation and gratitude for what I already have is is really the mindset and like the spiritual practice that unlocks yourself for more. It's that heart body connection because a lot of times people maybe too thought in their head like I want to do this, I want to do that. And they're just talking it and the words have no emotion. There's a flatness, but they don't necessarily embody the joy and the gratitude and the freedom and the wonder. When you say abstract concepts, like I just want more freedom, I want more money, I want more time, I want more travel, I want more um, ease, whatnot. All of these experiences is like, what does that mean? And a lot of times I find people have trouble actually getting to the nitty gritty and the details of that. Whereas for me, if I were to say it, I would be like, it's the feeling I get. It's the feeling of soaring within. It's like the feeling of feeling like you're a bird soaring in the sky. And I felt that feeling many times actually through various experiences I've had where it's unlocked a freedom within. It's when I would give a speech like at a Toastmasters. I used to be involved in this Toastmasters in my early 20s when I was still like between jobs and doing different, not between jobs, while I was in the jobs, and I was doing different things of that nature in my hometown. And even like just following off from the psychotherapy program that I was in, where I really started speaking more of my personal experiences and like from my heart. So these were experiences that like unlocks that freedom within. So freedom is not necessarily about travel. It's about simply unlocking a certain energy and living your truth, speaking your truth from within. And I would often get this feeling like I spoke really of something that was on my heart, on my mind, something that was meaningful to me. I would unlock the same feeling that I would experience in a lot of my travels. If I was sometimes going on bike rides in my hometown, like by the river valley, just like out for like 2, 3, 4 hours a day. And especially it was like a springtime, summer, those long, lazy, hazy days of summer or whatnot. I'm sure that's a song. I'm thinking of that song right now. It's like so delightful, right? And it's just that, I'm like from a bit of a small town, in Alberta. So it has like that very like wide open spaces. And that's just like who I am at core. It's like that feeling of like there's possibility, there's wonder, there's space for the unknown, for play essentially, for the imagination, for creativity. There's just space. And it's this energetic state that I would often feel like I wasn't just going for a bike ride for like fitness or whatever. I was actually feeling like this sensation that I was exploring and I was soaring and I was feeling like so much more than otherwise. It was just this feeling of expansion. of my spirit soaring and elevated thoughts and emotions and really like a vibrational shift into a higher frequency and state of mind. And so all these feelings of joy and appreciation, and then I would go in like I would have like berries and like fruits and like hydration and like nourishment, right? And I was eating a lot more like vegetarian rather than like consuming heavier foods like meat and like, essentially dead animals. Like that has a bit of a lower vibrational frequency on the energetic scale. I was giving more life-giving foods, plant-based and nutrient dense and like life-giving foods essentially. These all had an interlocking interplay with this new state of being. And this was like in my, this was around like 2013, 2012 to 2015. I was really undergoing this transformation, especially just coming up out of university. And I was moving a lot more from my head to my body wisdom. And I had just done Vipassana in like June of 2012. So all of these factors were allowing me to be more grounded in my heart and my body and my feeling sensations and like what I was truly feeling, right? And expressing this truth through my words, through my being, and feeling more. And so allowing myself to feel more allows me to receive more, essentially. It's not all coming, it's not just like me thinking like I want to do this. These are all actual emotions that I'm emoting, essentially. And so all this joy and this beauty and the love, it's like flowing, and the more of it that I allow in, the more of it that I'm able to experience. And this is really the fuel behind a lot of this world adventure, and the same feelings that I would feel in my hometown, whether it was like talking about things meaningful to me that are on my heart, going for bike rides in my hometown, taking a ferry from Spain to Morocco. It's like these particular experiences all carry the same frequency of joy, of love, appreciation, of gratitude, of abundance, of fullness, of like possibility, of imagination, creativity, play. These are very high level like feelings. These are like transcending, transmuting any lower energies, whether you're holding like guilt or shame or resentment or fear or anger, judgment, whatever. It's transmuting the lower frequencies into higher positive ones. So it means that whatever comes your way, you take it all in, you receive it all, the good, the bad, the ugly. You know what I mean? It's like not all experiences are going to be the exact same, but you are the vessel through which you get to process these. And you can turn these, these stories into wisdom. You turn these, and it's like it compounds essentially. It makes you allows you to hold more over time, in a sense. It's like your container just kind of expands more and more. And so, when I say like I've had like infinite experiences worldwide, like on a global scale, like this expansive energy, and like your wealth identity, the wealth that you then are able to hold over the years and years of all of these experiences accumulating. It's like the more you're able to hold, the more you're able to receive. That versus someone who's just kind of at home and they're kind of like, oh no, 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 oh no, not that, not that, oh no, but what if this happens? What if that, right? And it's like very conditional. And it's very like they're kind of like almost like just shrinking and contracting and be like, okay, well, no, 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 and you're not allowing yourself to receive, right? It's like a totally different energy. It's a different state of abundance. It's totally that like operating from your mind, and you're not truly living in the essence of life. So it's like a very subtle shift, but it's actually like a world's part. And that's what I've noticed sometimes in just conversation with people who are like, I want more freedom. I want more money to do this. And I'm like, well, what amount of money would it be? And they're like, $1 million. It's like a common thing, right? Or they'd be like, well, I just want more freedom to do what I want to do. But then when you explore deeper, it's like they don't really know why. When you ask them, well, why? And then suddenly they're just repeating like, well, I just want to go do what I want to do, to just pack and go when I want. And it's like, all these things I essentially do. And it's like, well, the reason that you're not, it's like, without trying to like tell them the answer themselves, it's like you can see that their heart is blocked, they're not feeling the emotions. And I like looking back to my own experiences, it's like way back when I was feeling the joy, I was feeling the sadness, I was feeling the pain, I was feeling the fears and the anger. Like I had a lot of anger, especially from like doing some things that I felt like I didn't want to do in the first place, like going to university, right? And feeling almost that lack of autonomy from all of those experiences. And then really kind of speaking up more about my own um, personal experiences and unlocking that freedom from just through voicing these out loud, and realizing that there is a more empowered way, and transmuting those heavier, denser energies into something lighter, more playful, more life-giving, essentially. So it's about feeling your emotions, all of them, the deep dark ones to the light, playful ones. And you realize that life, like joy, is like as profound as pain. You know, sometimes people think, oh, for something to be meaningful, it has to be painful. But no, actually, joy has like a lot of profoundness. And when I'm able to transmute the pain into like joy, you know, heavier, denser emotions into the joy and feel that lighter place of like buoyancy, it's like in a sense, sometimes you appear quite superficial because being like, oh, well, everything is just so good for you. You're so happy go lucky. You're just such a shiny, like bubbly personality. It's like, yeah, and like I've also been in the deep dark places where I've gone into the pain. I've talked about like the nitty gritty and like the more harrowing experiences and the experiences that are more heart wrenching and like all of that more. Sometimes people I think seem to think that like, you know, I mean, well, yeah, I think struggle does kind of like increase your bandwidth or at least allows you to unlock that energy. You know, all energy is not created. Energy is not created or destroyed, it's simply transmuted. So essentially it's just like unlocking all that abundance through taking all of that energy locked up in lower, denser vibrational energies and these emotions that are not necessarily serving you towards what you truly want, and unlocking it and redirecting it, channeling it to these more positive vibrations and these more positive focuses and directions. And in that doing, and then like I mentioned, going on more like bike rides and connecting with more nature and like eating more healthy and like fitness and like life-giving foods and whatnot, empowered energy and like connecting with that feeling of joy and abundance within, no matter where I was, like in various situations. That was the same energy that I was carrying worldwide with me. It's like the same fuel. It's the same basic emotion, no matter where I am. So it's not the thing that is the thing. It's not like the travel that causes these things. It's the underlying emotion that propelled these experiences. And that is the key point that I want to bring out. You know, so when I'm in Morocco, I'm like in wonder. I'm in awe. I'm in the same state of uh, being that I was in my own hometown, essentially, that I tapped into from transmuting those denser, lower energies. And I'm like, you know, the Moroccan mint teas and all of the sweets and the colors and the feeling of it, like I how it's like indescribable. It's like this feeling of being like on top of the world, like you're just in the world. You're not even just, you're like just living it. It's like surreal. It's like an unreal quality. It's like dreams in reality. It really just felt like I was just walking on like a cloud and like being in like the souks and like as like a solo female traveler and like it's just this, you become like a magnet for all of these experiences when you open your heart to allow in more and you're not judging it. You're not trying to like be like, oh, well, not this, oh, well, not, you're not operating from that mind and blocking all of these experiences essentially. It's like you're wide open in a sense. You're allowing, you can receive more. And with that, it means that yes, if you're able to transmute any lower frequency vibrations, you might have to do that again and again and over again. There's, you know, getting experiences that will hurt you, that will make you, that will, they're going to be people who try to take, who upset you or rude people, whatever. Like there's always gonna, or experiences or situations that you feel are like unfair or like you're like what the heck is this, or like I did not, or just like different experiences that might take you out of that zone. And it's your power, your personal power, your creative power to get back in that zone, to convert that energy into the more empowering ones. So it's like part and parcel, and that's where you also learn that mastery. That's what part of being a solo world traveler is. It's not that just everything just goes your way as much as it, you know, that's the thing. It's like what's that say? With great power comes great responsibility. So like the more of the greatness, like the good, like the love and the joy and the beauty and the world travel that you want, you also have to be willing to, in a way, endure some moments that are not so necessarily, that you wouldn't necessarily be in such joy and appreciation for. Because as I've always found that I'm able to I transmute anything that has happened, and sometimes I feel great appreciation from a certain struggle or something that did not like seemed on the surface like, oh, that was bad or this was not that great or something like that. And then for outcome of it, it's like, well, but I'm like super appreciative and joyful. And it's like you just have even that much more experience under your belt, so to speak. So like all of it essentially feeds into the same direction. It's like all moving towards your greatest good if you simply choose to look at it that way and to allow in all of it so that you're not trying to block it because you're like, oh, I don't want that. I don't want that. Like you're like playing defense. And then you're essentially not even living your life because you're not allowing more of it to flow in. So this is the talk for this for episode 27. where I just wanted to share more of that aspect of what could potentially, what actually is the underlying force behind all of these travels and adventures. Is it freedom? Is it that money? Is it that time? What is it really? For me, it's always been that feeling of life, of actually just living life, of feeling the joys and the appreciation and the beauty, and sometimes even the sorrows, the pain, the hurt, the fears, the anger of life. It's actually feeling all of it. It's that, duality. It's a multicolored, it's a kaleidoscope of feeling. It's like the multifaceted, it's the spectrum essentially. It's like the whole of it, right? It's like you get the whole of it essentially. It's like the whole palette. And that's actually part and parcel of what life is. And it's your creative power to direct that energy that comes to, that energy that you have the power to to channel and to direct essentially. And so you don't have to be afraid to allow more in. But the first step is that you do have to allow yourself to feel more, to receive more, to live more essentially. It's not all just like butterflies and rainbows, in a very cliche term to use. It actually is like the more you get to appreciate and feel and live for, there's also a lot that you have to be willing to face and to look at and to transmute in a sense. And that is where your personal power comes in. And that is actually what true freedom is. It's not the places, it's who you get to be. And it's also a reminder that the freedom is within. And the freedom is not just about getting to go to different places. It's about unlocking your heart and whatever it is on your heart that you want to allow free, even if it's releasing some words, releasing, expressing yourself in some way. That has felt like tremendous freedom to me in many cases, even before I started traveling worldwide. So that is episode 27 of Let the Story Write Itself.